What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Smile Today podcast, the number one podcast in the world to make you smile today. I hope you're all having a blessed day so far, and if you're reading this episode, it says the freedom of forgiveness. Boy, forgiveness is so hard, isn't it? It's one of the hardest things ever. I'm going to be completely honest. There are times in my life where I've struggled to forgive people, where someone did something to me or said something to me that was so harsh. I was like, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could forgive them. And that's just a small example. I think there's so many things going on in our lives. And, if you're clicking on this, you're probably struggling and wrestling with something that is even more difficult to forgive. So I hope this can help you and guide you and maybe just give you some encouragement to have forgiveness for someone or something. This episode is brought to you by Talkspace. If you ever thought about therapy but didn't know where to start, Talkspace makes it simple. It's online, so you can talk to a licensed therapist from anywhere. No commuting, no wait rooms, no long wait lists. And the best part, for most people, it's covered by insurance. Sometimes the copay is even $0. That means real help, flexible scheduling, and care that actually fits your lifestyle. I know how hard and heavy life can feel when you try to carry it alone. You don't have to anymore. Use the link in the description to get started today because your mental health matters. Now, let's get right back into the episode. So, I want to start by asking, why should we let them off the hook? That's the elephant in the room. Why should we let someone off the hook for what they did to us? Well, holding on only hurts us more, right? You know how you feel like when you're waking up every day and you know that there's just something lingering in the back of your mind? And most of the time it's this. It's this like pressure. It's this feeling that you just can't shake. You're like, oh, well, I had a great day, but like this is still bothering me a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't serve us to hold on to these things because no matter what happened, it's going to continue to linger. It's always going to continue to kind of move its way into your life. And I know that's just so difficult and so hard to hold on to. So I want to give you two quick stories of my own to encourage you. One, let's go back to the high school days. Let's talk about like 16-year-old Jack. Jack had a crush. Jack had a crush that he liked a lot. And he had a good friend at the time who was willing to be a wingman and go on a little date with, this girl that I liked and then her friend. And I was like, oh, this will be great. We're going to go ice skating or whatever. And we get there and, we're having a good time. And then my wingman starts like going for the girl that I was like trying to intentionally like date. And I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. And the night kind of progressed and he just started like embarrassing me. Like he just started like doing stuff that just wasn't cool. Like I remember I liked wearing hats because I didn't like my hair at the time because I had to like shave my head and I had it like blonde. It was like a whole thing. And he like took off my hat and he like threw it and he like the girls were like laughing at me and I was like, oh my gosh. And I felt like nothing. I felt so small. And a few weeks later, like they ended up dating. And I was like, dang, I'm never going to forgive this person. Like that was so horrible to me at the time. Because, when you're in high school, you kind of like romanticize like love and all these things. And oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. I was just like, oh, I'm never going to forgive this guy. And I got my friends to like kind of like push him away, like push him out of our friend group. And it took me so long to forgive him. And it was, I think I had a moment where I was like, why do I still not like this guy after it's been years? He's matured, he's grown up, and he's clearly a better person. And I just had to put it in myself. And I said sorry. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry for treating you so bad. I'm sorry for pushing you out. I'm sorry for, everything that I did. And he's like, you're sorry. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, dude, that ruined our friendship. And we had this talk and we're like, whoa, at the end of the day, like I apologize first. And he's like, you shouldn't have apologized. But I'm like, it doesn't matter who apologizes first. It just matters that you have that forgiveness in your heart to say, you know what? We make mistakes. We're human beings and that's okay. The second example I'm going to give you is actually about 3 years ago. I was dating this girl and we were kind of on and off for a little bit and we finally were on again. And it was, I was very happy. I was like, oh, this is so great. I want to like show her to like my, my friends. And I went to a different college to go visit a friend and I have someone who's like a sister to me. I have an older sister. Her name's Annabeth. She's so awesome. And her best friend is so cool. And I'm only mentioning this because this is like well past. Like this is something that we talked about. And I just want to, give you encouragement. So we're at like a tailgate for a football game. And, I'm with my friend and I get a Snapchat from her, from my ex-girlfriend now. And I show her to my sister's friend. And she's like, you can do better. Like straight up to my face. And then she said something else. And then she said something else. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like I'm genuinely happy right now. And you are like bashing me. And, words truly have a way of really digging deeper. I think sometimes more than actions. Now, there are some actions that I'm like, wow, that would be really hard to forgive. But those words stuck with me and it broke me in that moment. I just remember just crying and being so upset for the whole night. It was like that one or two sentences ruined my entire day. And I let it ruin like the next week or two for me. And then it actually ended up bringing me to a point where I broke things off again with this girl for no reason because I believed the words that someone else told me to believe. It's like, dang. And I held a lot of resentment for her for a long time. And then I saw her again and we just like talked it out. And I was like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, I think actually she addressed it. She's like, hey, I'm sorry. Like, that was wrong of me to say. I've thought about this a lot. And she really cared. I think sometimes we forget that, again, we're all human beings and that we all make mistakes and say things that we don't actually mean sometimes. It just like kind of comes out in the heat of the moment. We're like, oh my gosh. And you don't know how much that affects that other person either, right? So like you might be the one who feels like, oh my gosh, they don't care about me. They said this selfishly, and they actually realize that they did more harm, and then they're also feeling the same way. But it's the barrier of communication that we don't have when we try to, figure it out ourselves, and we try to say like, oh, they're not feeling this way. Like if you don't have that conversation, you won't know. So I think forgiveness is super important in friendships, in relationships, in family relationships too. If you have someone you want to forgive and reconcile with, communicate with them and, tell them how you feel. Say, I feel like this because of blank, and I think that's a great step forward. Again, it's a great step to let go and start that release. And I think you should just forgive often. And I think you shouldn't I think you should forgive, but you shouldn't forget. I think it's important to guard our hearts. And it's important to say, like, okay, this person did this to me. Maybe it's not the best that they're in my life anymore, but I'm just going to continue to pray for them and I'm going to continue to be happy for them, right? I still want to see them eat, just not at my table. And that is totally okay, right? You don't have to bring them back into your life just because you forgave them. It's okay. Like maybe that's the space that you needed. Maybe that's the space you realized, like, well, you know what? There's more people out there. There's more things out there, and there's more experiences for me to have, and it might not just be with that person. Because some people are here for seasons. It's a season, a reason, a lesson, or a blessing. I love saying that. It's so true. And sometimes that's people in your life, and it's okay. It's totally okay. So I just want you to acknowledge, whatever you have on your heart, whatever you are trying to forgive right now, acknowledge it and let it go. And even if you're not ready, it's okay. Just release. It's all right. Have it in your heart to forgive. It's so good for you. And pray for those people. Pray for anyone who might have done you wrong. Maybe you said something wrong. I'm going to be praying for you. It's okay. There's plenty of times where I've slipped up and said something wrong to somebody, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so not nice. I'm so sorry. And again, I'll apologize. Or maybe I won't see them again. Maybe I won't. And that's something that I have to, get in my heart and drop to my knees and just say, God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for treating your children like this. I'm sorry for treating a child of God like this. It's not right. And I want to close off with one last thing about the Bible. In Matthew chapter 18, I read this recently. One of Jesus's disciples, Peter, and we know Peter's the one who denied Jesus 3 times. But he's a character. And in chapter 18, he talks about forgiveness. And he goes up to Jesus, and Peter goes, yo, Jesus. And Jesus is like, yeah, Peter, what's up? He's like, how many times should I forgive someone? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 times? And Jesus is like, no, not 7 times, but 77 times. Showing that we should forgive infinitely, always. That forgiveness should be limitless. And I thought that was so encouraging. Continue to forgive other people no matter what. And I think a lot of us get caught up on the small things of not forgiving people. Like, oh, that guy didn't hold the door for me when I was like 5 feet in front of him. You know, he just closed it right in front of me. And then you have like this bitterness towards someone, or that person cut you off in traffic. And then you have that bitterness. It's like, it's okay. I forgive them and I forget and I move on, because forgiveness truly should be limitless, because that's how we're truly set free. So forgive often, love with all your heart, and keep shining your light in this world. I hope this episode helped you guys today. I hope you have a blessed day today, and make sure to smile today.